Yo, did y'all see the Candace Owens Cardi B beef?
Yeah.
Bro, this shit is so funny, bro.
This is a tough one.
This shit is so funny, bro.
It's a tough one.
Why? Why is it tough?
I can't say. Taylor, what's your thoughts on Candace
Say
Owens?
why. Say it.
I mean, all her points weren't that off.
Who? Candace, right?
Candace, yeah.
Candace a bad bitch, yo. She nice
I'm
at this.
sorry. I don't want to. But if you
Yo, look at Taylor's face. Can you please get to Taylor's face? Please
Taylor,
look at Taylor's face.
Taylor, it's okay.
Yo,
Taylor,
you got mad bullets in your gun. Use them.
Taylor, it's okay. Hold up.
And what's sad is I
Let me
shouldn't
set
shoot
it
you
up.
because you're a black man. And that's
Stop it.
Nah, but sometimes
You hear what she just said? I should shoot you because you're a black man.
No, I said I shouldn't.
Oh, you shouldn't.
No.
But then sometimes you gotta do it.
I'm not doing that.
No,
I'm not
okay,
doing that.
so here's let me just set it up for everybody listening at home that hasn't seen it yet. Okay. Candace Owens is a troll. She is the 6ix9ine of right-wing politics.
Yes.
And she garners her fans by riling up the opposition, especially celebrities that are in the opposition that have dabbled in the political realm. Candace is an operative, a tool used by the right, okay? She can say all the things that the extreme right cannot say because a lot of times the extreme right are old white guys. So old white guys cannot tell black people to shut up about Black Lives Matter. They cannot tell black people cops don't kill them. They cannot tell black people that they need to leave the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party is the one that enslaved them and they're just slaves and being used. So they get a black female to do it so that they cannot use her identity against her, right? Because if a white guy said it, there'd be a lot of people just like, oh yeah, you white male patriarchy, shut the fuck up, you're just racist. Black woman does it, you can't call her. You gotta call her a sellout, you gotta call her a coon or whatever the fuck it is, right? So, she is on Ben Shapiro's show and she calls out Cardi B for being, I guess, a liberal shill.
Yeah.
Which she is. Now, Cardi, she's saying is being used by the Democrats, which she is.
And she says it's insulting to black people's intelligence.
And she says insulting black people's intelligence. I think that's debatable.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. It's okay to be used if you want to be used for that. In other words, any employer is using an employee. If that employee wants to be used for that job, that's a beautiful relationship.
And what did you just say Candace Owens is? She is a shill for the Republican Party.
She's being used. 100%.
And
if Candace Owens was a white man, she would be out of a job.
100%.
Candace Owens is nothing without her identity.
Yeah.
She would be another political pundit. She'd be Rush Limbaugh or one of these other guys that would just be thrown out to the fray and called a racist and been told to shut the fuck up. But she is a lightning rod because of her identity. Nobody benefits from identity politics more than Candace Owens.
Yeah.
And she is the one that's trying to push back against identity politics. Yeah. Identity politics goes away, you don't have a job, Candace. And she knows this. In the same way, the right uses Candace, the left uses children to make their arguments. So they use Greta Thunberg for the environment. Throw a little girl out there. Right-wing people don't want to criticize a little girl. Throw those kids that were in the school shooting. Throw them out there and tell people not to use guns.
That's the last people you can argue with.
You're not going to argue with some kids that were in a school shooting, right? So every political side uses these operatives. Candace is making a true point, which is Cardi's being used. Cardi is saying, yeah, I want to be used.
Yeah.
I align with these political viewpoints.
Yeah.
Candace is saying, you don't know what they are. And her point when she kind of I guess executed it a little bit further is like, you say you want to save money in taxes. You say you want to do, I think she had a couple other things on her agenda, Cardi B. Yeah. And it's like, all those things kind of line up with the Republican platform, not the Democratic one. So Candace went about it in this like dragging culture type of way where like, I'm going to criticize you. I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to have the timeline going, oh, you got lit on fire. Ooh, whatever. But the points that she was making about Cardi and when she articulated what Cardi is saying she wants and how the Democratic Party does not service that, could stand up. Absolutely. But to say that she's just being used, it's like, yeah, well, Candace, so you're being used by Prager University. You're being used. Like, of course. Everybody here is being used. And are people pandering? Yes. Donald Trump is pandering. Cardi B is pandering. Joe Biden is pandering.
She's acting like Donald Trump doesn't have Kim Kardashian at the White House and Kanye West at the White House.
Everybody's pandering.
Yeah.
It's election season, baby. It's time to tap dance.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's doing. And we are going to tap dance on the biggest fucking platforms. 100%.
And
Now, go.
that was the only thing that, so all the points you just made, I agree with. And Cardi pushed back on like, oh, they're not just speaking to me to pander to the black vote. And I disagree because that's the only reason why they would speak to Cardi B.
Yes.
That's the only reason. It's just to pander to your fans, and the majority of your fans are black people who listen to hip hop and WAP.
Yeah.
Yes.
The best response would have been, "You're just as much of a tool as me." That's what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Cardi clapped back that way, that would have been good. But I'm just saying what Candace said isn't wrong.
It's not wrong.
Yeah.
They are trying to get black people to vote for Biden.
That's why he has Kamala too.
And that's why he has Kamala as well. Yeah. That is a pandering move.
Yeah.
Now, the line between pander and service and representation is very thin, right?
Yeah.
I want representation in this movie. Okay, let's put an Indian person in this movie. Are we pandering to Indians? Are we pandering to the left? Or are we representing them? Yeah. The right wing would say, you're pandering. The left wing would say, this is progress, this is representation. They can mean the same thing. But you're both doing it. And everybody's fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Literally. Everybody's trying to use it. So, is it necessarily bad? I don't know. Is Candace right that Cardi has probably very limited knowledge of the political sphere? Yeah. Sure. I haven't seen Cardi say anything that was like wildly prolific when it came to politics. Have you guys?
No, I don't even think I could take it seriously if she did. I'm just so used to old Cardi.
Yeah.
If she start talking like really thought out points, I'd be like, this is different.
She's like, I pay millions of dollars in taxes. I don't want to pay as much in taxes. Well, yeah, okay, you're a Republican. Or you're everyone, actually.
Yeah.
No one wants to pay money in taxes.
Yeah.
You know? So I completely understand, but this is just like, this is classic Candace. And I don't understand why people fall for it.
I know.
Like, why would Cardi fall for it?
She does this all the time.
People
though.
always fall for trolls, and I don't
she
get it. Everybody falls for trolls. If you're a sports fan, Skip Bayless means nothing he says. Why do we fall for these people?
You know what? It shows insecurity.
Yeah.
It's like real security would be real security is somebody's talking shit about you. You know that thing isn't true, so you don't respond to it.
Right.
Candace struck a nerve. And the nerve was, and this is my assumption, I don't know Cardi, but my assumption is Cardi felt Candace was right.
Yeah.
Or her insecurity about her political knowledge or how she's being used, etc. The only reason you respond to criticism is because you believe that criticism about yourself, or it is so absurdly wrong. It's not even the sphere of reality. And even in those situations, you're like, I don't dignify that with a response. Yeah. Charlamagne asked Diddy, yo, did you have Biggie killed or whatever it is? Or Tupac killed? Remember? And Diddy's like, I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. Mm-hmm. So, honestly, it's like, stop falling for this shit. I don't understand it. Why do people get caught every time? Tommy Lahren would do the same thing. She'd say one thing, Black Twitter go crazy. We did it to Black Twitter. I didn't think this would even work. I didn't even mean it. When we were like, who's blacker, Adele or Beyonce? It is the most obvious joke.
No, Adele is blacker than Beyonce.
Oh,
it's even more obvious.
It's a more obvious joke. Did you see that?
Wait,
last week we said Adele is blacker than Beyonce, and then we started going through all these reasons why. Okay. Like Adele, the name is blacker than Beyonce. Like we just saw every reason. Like it was it was the most absurd in the world. Like who makes better mac and cheese? Like all these absurd things. There were blue check marks on Twitter debating about how toxic this was, how problematic this was. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
And all you're doing is making us more famous, theoretically. Like, that's why, not that we did, but Candace Owens, if she just existed and Black Twitter wasn't up in arms, she just exists. Tommy Lahren, I feel like I watched it happen where I heard about her once or twice, and then all of a sudden she just became this thing because everybody would get outraged by whatever she said. There's no substance to what she's saying.
Yeah.
Let a crazy person rant on the side of the street. If you get offended by every crazy person on the subway saying crazy shit, you just make them more powerful. Let them live. Let them go away. Ignore them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Candace is just going to gravitate to where the money is. And there will always be money for a person of the opposite race willing to criticize their own. There will be money for white people that are willing to trash white people on behalf of minorities. And there will be money for minorities that are willing to trash minorities on behalf of white people.
Yeah.
Because you need those Trojan horses out there.
And the more upset you get by them, the more their people give them power because they're like, I love how much he pisses off black people. I love it. I love it. We got to keep supporting this girl. She's the best. Yeah. If you just didn't give a fuck, she just exists and nobody really cares.
And you know what? It's a real shame, I think, about Candace is that, like, she is a product of outrage culture, but she's a very eloquent and smart woman.
Yes.
And she's got star power, and she's fucking brave.
That
woman is
power for good.
Say what exactly, or just use that power for, regardless of it's good or not,
justice,
not outrage. Like not lowest common denominator. Like going after Cardi B. Like what? Like don't you have bigger fish to fry? Like go after corporate maniacs. Do you know what I'm saying? Like go after. Yeah, you can go after Clinton. You can go after. There's so many different things that you can go after. I guess but she does that for the same reason 6ix9ine does it, right? I'm sure 6ix9ine is like, yo, I can make really catchy songs, but nobody's gonna listen unless I tattoo four leaf clovers on my face and I start beef with everybody in Chicago. Then they listen. So unfortunately, I got to do that. But if you could just make the catchy songs, if we rewarded that, that's what they would do. And I bet you, if we rewarded Candace just having like a nuanced opinion about politics that just happened to be right wing, but
and
it wasn't
not
like
on race,
and it wasn't necessarily about race. And matter of fact, by not mentioning race, she might get way more black people to go, that person looks like me and she's making really good points, and she's not calling everyone that disagrees with her a fucking sellout or coon or whoever they call her that shit. I'm the same thing. But like, it's like the outrage culture we exist in is making us lose people that could be like really effective and talented.
Yeah.
And that's not our fault only. It's their fault for falling for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could play lowest common denominator every Saturday when we do those pieces. We don't. We take a nuanced point of view.
Yeah.
I guess you got to fucking be willing to sacrifice. I don't know.
It is a much quicker path, but I think the ceiling is lower.
Yes.
Because she goes where she evokes the strongest response, which is obviously a black woman criticizing black people. And that evokes such a strong response. It is a fast track to money.
the middle.
Yeah, to the middle. That's better said. Fast track to the middle. The ceiling, greatness, is people who build and try to be nuanced. And in the end, that wins. But she is fast tracking her way to the fucking...
Candace can't be in politics.
No.
Now, eventually, maybe she can do the Ben Shapiro pivot, where Ben Shapiro was like super antagonistic to black people, and now he's like, I'm just a regular, nuanced Republican, right? It's like, but
because he realized he's in the middle, he's stuck in the middle.
Exactly. I can only go so far with this. Yeah. So Candace is going to have her pivot, and then I guess I would say to any of the Candace like detractors, I would go keep that same energy with her, and remind her to keep that same energy.
Yeah.
When she will make that pivot. She's not a critical mass, but she's going to make that pivot where it's just like once her protectors and the people paying her go, okay, you're famous enough where you actually kind of like need to be a little bit more mainstream, welcome everybody in the fray a little bit more. She will make that pivot and just remind her, hey, you are just as bought as the people that you were saying are also bought.
Yeah, there's going to be a time where she needs black moderates to vote. And she's going to have to back off and then, remind her, no, you got here with this shit, you sit in that.